How's your recovery gear? No, like, really, how's your recovery gear? Have you checked it lately? If you're like me, you bought it, shoved it under your seat, and haven't thought about it much since then. Well, I'm fortunate enough to have Factor 55 as a new channel partner, so I decided to pay Justin over there a visit and learn from the guru himself what things are essential, what things are dangerous, and what things I should swap out. Well, I am on my way over to meet Justin at Factor 55 today, because I have some important questions to ask him around like my recovery gear. And Justin is the guy, man. He is awesome. He knows so much. He's been super kind. We've become friends over the years, and so let's go see Justin at Factor 55. What's so cool about coming to a place like this is you realize some of these world-renowned companies in our industry, they don't have big, huge corporate offices. It's overlanding and wheeling people who are making products for the industry, and Factor 55 has invested all of their time and energy and money into the manufacturing process and not into having some super fancy retail or corporate headquarters. So let's go walk inside, meet Justin, and see what it's like to be inside of Factor 55. Justin, okay, so what are like the most essential pieces of recovery gear that everybody who either overlands or is rock crawling or is just generally off-road, what do they need?
You have to look at your vehicle, right? You have to look at the vehicle that you have and already see what its capability of, even right now. So one of the things, like right now you have your Sahara,
Yep.
Right? Lockers or no lockers?
Lockers.
Okay, so you got lockers.
That work sometimes. They don't always work.
That's a JK problem.
Yeah.
Is it OEM stuff?
No, it's ARB air lockers. And they're so good when they work.
Yeah. Well, that's a race car stuff right there. I can't tell you how many times a vehicle's been stuck and it literally just took airing down the tires, putting it into 4 low, and driving out of whatever stuck situation they were in, and you didn't even need anything else, right? So air down tools and even traction boards. Those two things to start with are huge advantages in any stuck scenario. You
can choose your price on traction boards.
Yeah, of course.
You can also kind of choose your price on air down tools, but they're really inexpensive.
Yeah.
You can get them on Amazon for like $30.
So there's a wide variety of all that, but even for like some of the higher end, a couple $100, it's still at the end of the day is only a couple $100 that you're going to use all the time.
Yeah.
But if you're constantly wheeling or you're constantly going in the backcountry, not even off-roading, you're just an active camper, mountain biker, fisherman, hunter, right? Something that you're going to use them more frequently, it's worth the financial investment to spend $300 and buy a nice set of traction boards that are going to last.
So I went cheap. I bought a pair of X-Bull traction boards to start, and I used them on an obstacle, and they work great, and they broke when I did it, but I still got over it.
But you got out of it.
And they cost me $80, and I thought, my whole rationale at the beginning was, well, I'll just buy new ones when these break because I can buy 3 pairs before I pay for Max Track.
Yeah, so one thing for everybody watching, I always want to say this too. When you get into a scenario that's like this, when you have that equipment, whatever the cost of that equipment cost to get you out of that situation, it wasn't thousands of dollars for a wrecker to come get you.
Right.
It wasn't, you know what I mean? You just paid for your own safety net.
That's right.
And so it's worth the value of not damaging your vehicle or having to repair it when you get home or having to pay somebody else to come get you, whatever that cost is. And you can get away with less quality stuff, but a lot of that kind of thing will end up being one-time use.
One-time use, and that's why, so my next pair is ARB treads, more expensive, in the same category as Max Tracks in terms of price and quality. And I didn't like being without traction boards. So, and their lifetime warranty. So if they do break, I'll get a new pair sent to me right away, which is what you pay for as long as you're choosing the right company that has a high value. You can pay whatever you want. But I think it's choosing the right company that has good manufacturing processes, has good customer service and warranty. I'm a believer of that now with all of my recovery gear. And we're going to look at my recovery gear in a second, and you're going to see where I started.
Because I did.
So
it's great.
There's a lot to change out there. So so you got traction boards and deflators.
Yeah, so those are a great kind of stepping stone, right, for anybody that's going to be in there. So now you have to really kind of start thinking about into what we like to talk about into vehicle assisted recovery, and then also into winching recovery. right? And what that looks like. Because some recoveries, you have to have another vehicle there to be able to do this. But if you have a winch and you're by yourself, then you have a different kind of setup. So kind of that rule of thirds also can apply to overlanding or your off-road experience, which is, are you remote, solo, and international?
Oh.
Okay?
Yeah.
So if you're remote, me and you can be remote. If you got a winch and I don't, which would never happen, but if you got a winch and I don't, we can get a lot of stuff done because, you know, we're all together.
Yep.
But if you're remote and solo, now it's like, do you have a winch?
Yeah.
Do you have spare parts? Do you have fluids? Do you have food and blankets and water and, you know what I mean? Do you have all these other things that are there, right? And then if you're remote, solo, and international, like you here in the U.S., or you in Canada, you're in Mexico, you're in Baja, do you know how to get back to the border? Do you know how far away that you are? Do you have a sat phone? Do you have GPS tracking? Like I already saw in one of your videos, you were talking about how you're letting people know when you're off grid, right?
Yeah.
For the Magruder Trail, right? So all these things, the narrative is always different depending on the terrain that you're going to go into. And so you really need to have that plan before you go out there to activate. So I would say that the bare minimum stuff would be to have a hitch receiver shackle mount.
Okay.
In fact, there's one right behind you if you want to grab it.
Oh,
so
yeah.
this is that's our hitch link. That's our 2.0 hitch link, right? So we do make that for a 2-inch receiver, a 2.5, and a 3-inch receiver. Having a hitch receiver shackle mount like this, whether you leave it in your hitch,
Which is better than like D-rings on the sides of your bumper because it's a central pulling point.
exactly.
Right? Yeah.
So with this, the key piece that a lot of people think about, okay, well, I'm going to get one of these, right? We all know to not pull off of tow hitches or tow balls, that kind of thing. So we're assuming that, but it's not just for you. It's also when you come across another vehicle that's in the backcountry that is stuck. Now you can actually pull this out and put it into their receiver, and you've created a dedicated recovery point to assist that other person.
Yep.
So that's a key component.
Okay.
From this component, then you go, okay, well, what else do I need? Having a tow strap is a great idea because a tow strap is universal. You can use a tow strap like our standard duty tow strap, and then you need the rigging connection devices to attach to those pieces. You would have hard shackle or soft shackle attaching here to your tow strap. Well, now you need something to attach on the other end of the tow strap.
Yep.
So that's either another soft shackle or another hard shackle on that end. Now
when you say hard shackle, you're talking about D-ring?
I'm talking about a screw, pin, bow shackle, right? So that's why if you represent all of the key components I just talked about, right? The hitch link, a soft shackle, a hard shackle, and a tow strap all comes in one small recovery bag. That's our Owyhee recovery kit.
Oh.
And that's why we specifically designed that.
So that's like anybody who goes off-road should at least have that.
Any vehicle that's leaving pavement, this is the minimum amount of stuff that could get you out of a disastrous situation. Now, the only thing the kits don't come with, they don't come with gloves, and they don't come with hitch pins. Before you get out and start handling and doing anything, you put your gloves on.
Man, I'm glad you said that because I have cut my fingers up. We were on the VDR and my front drive shaft went out. So we're pulling the front drive shaft so we could finish the VDR. We're under there and my best buddy Chris ripped his finger open on an Allen wrench. And he ripped it open to the point where he needed stitches. The only reason he ripped it open is because he wasn't wearing gloves. Yeah. And I was like, hey, where are my gloves? And he told me about his thought process. Like, oh, I don't really need to wear gloves. I should get mine, but maybe not right now. Boom, ripped his finger. I mean, just that alone can seriously mess up a recovery situation.
So I would say the first essential, the number one most essential tool is gloves. Put your gloves on.
Yeah. So let's go take a look at my recovery stuff, and you can tell me what I did right and what I did wrong.
You guys are going to love this.
All right. Here's my recovery bag. Now, this I keep under my back seat.
Like underneath like where your kids sit?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, when they're like loaded up with like all kinds of other stuff. So if you needed access to this, it's already a pain to get to.
So I gotta like swim into all of the gear.
So that's problem number one.
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's look at this.
Okay.
So in here we have our winch controller. Okay. So this should always be within reach of the driver's seat. You always want to have your winch controller either in your center console or underneath your driver's seat, because I cannot tell you how many times we've been on a trail and getting somebody up an obstacle and been like, hey man, where's your controller? Oh, it's in the back underneath the thing. Like, dude.
That's me, but I have to say, I also have important things to put in the center console, like kids snacks and
Look, it's very important.
And my current GMRS radio goes in there, so I like to keep it in there so I can kind of keep it out of the way. But I will now start putting my winch controller in.
Or at least even underneath the seat in front of you.
Yeah.
Right? Somewhere that's within your reach, right? So that's number one. Also, this is everything.
That's it.
And the only shackles, the only rigging connection devices you have are hanging off the bumper.
That's correct. I can see the look on your face, Justin. Let me just say this. Okay, when I bought my recovery stuff, it was some of the first stuff I bought, because I thought, I've got a Jeep, I want to take it off road, I got to be safe and get recovery stuff. So I just bought what looked to be good,
Yeah, good enough.
but also inexpensive. But I don't know how to tell what's good and what's not good.
So this one here, this is kind of like a, your traditional kind of swing plate pulley block, right? You got to be careful about grabbing your fingers in between here. You can see the play that's in the plate. You can see how big of a space is actually in between the wheel and the plate here.
Oh, yeah.
So what can happen is the rope can jump the sheave and actually get caught and bound up in here too. That's a big topic of concern, something you should always be mindful about. But also, because of how thin these plates are and where this is grabbing onto, you do not put a soft shackle through something like this.
Why is that?
Because what could happen is that you're violating the bend radius of the rope, and it can also just peel this thing right through the end of a soft shackle. So you're isolated to only using a hard shackle with this style here.
Well, in my case, that's fine because I don't have any soft shackles.
Yeah, I got you. So the other thing too is if you notice this style of pulley, the wheel is below the bottom of the plate here. So what happens is the second that this thing drops onto the ground and you damage the end of this, when you go to try to use it with synthetic rope, you're already putting your rope in a danger zone that can be damaged as this wheel is spinning and pulling through. Let alone that this thing is really heavy. And also I really love that. That's great.
It's not made in the U.S.
Yeah,
It's made somewhere else.
Yeah, makes you feel like a winner.
I think you mean the opposite.
Oh, yeah. Now we look into this, like this might be the world's smallest toe strap I've ever seen in my life. So one thing, again, even with these toe straps, again, let's look for the label. Oh, here's our favorite. Here's our favorite right there.
Yeah.
That's our number one.
Made in the foreign country.
Never pull more than a third rated capacity. 1/3 of 10,000 pounds is 3,300 pounds. So how heavy is your Jeep?
Oh, I think off the line it's 4,500 pounds.
Yeah, so already you're like in a no-go zone.
I guess it's a good thing I've never used that.
Yeah, the other thing,
it may have been really dangerous.
Well, you don't even know. The other thing is like, what type of fibers is this made out of, right?
It's made out of toe strap material. That's what it said online. Toe strap material.
Yeah, this is scary.
So I've never used this rope, and the reason I've never used this rope is because when I've been in a recovery situation, I've been using somebody else's gear that's better than this. But if I had used this, it's scary because like something bad could have actually happened.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So like a buying decision, like researching on Amazon, and I'm a big fan of Amazon. Like, I make money from people buying stuff on Amazon. So, but researching on Amazon, buying something is that it's an easy click to make, and then you put it in your bag and you never use it until you actually need it. And when you actually need it, this could have really, really hurt somebody if it snapped. Do you want to talk about the good parts of my recovery stuff?
Well, so out of all of the stuff that you have here, the only good thing you got going on right here is that bad boy right there.
I did get a factory
At least you did that. The nice thing about the flat links is they fold flat. You get a better approach angle with the front of the vehicle. And then it still has the integrated rubber pads in order to protect, so there's no metal-to-metal connection on the fairlead surface. Now, the only disadvantage with these parts is it leaves the rope exposed right here. So UV, trail debris, that kind of things, or if you get into rock ledges, the end of the rope here could still get damaged. So that's why now you have the option to get the upgradable rope guard that goes on the front of here that acts as a skid plate for the front end of the vehicle. From there, now you start breaking down like, what the other components. A lot of people be like, well, a fairlead is just a fairlead. Well, that's not necessarily true. You want to have something that's got a slick surface that's dissipating that heat and friction and also protecting that fairlead surface from marring and getting damaged, which is going to lead to further damage of your ropes. You can see that it's got a really sharp departure angle on the front here. You can actually get in really close if you can see it right in the back end of here. Even the few times you've used the winch, you can already see that it's melted some of the rope from friction and heat coming off the back end of this. Even something as simple as like, your knife here, once you just hit the fairlead surface.
Hey dude, you just scratched my Jeep.
Yeah. You can rub your finger there and feel that it's just a light hit just from a knife blade has now made this So imagine if you're driving down the road 70 miles an hour and a rock hits this thing.
When it's chewed up, it just starts basically wearing away the rope as it passes over it, right?
100%.
Yeah.
Our fair leads are mil-spec Type 3 hard anodized, and they're billet machined out of USA-made Kaiser billet with lot traceability. So what that means is that we take the fair leads, and then that mil-spec hard anodizing, it's 2 mils thick. So it actually fuses a mil into the material and then a mil onto the surface. And it makes the surface as hard as sapphire. So what that does is when you have one of those fair leads on the front here, rock chips, right? Rocks, trail debris, dirt, grit, and rocks getting into the winch line as it's passing over the fair lead surface, it's not going to damage this. So ours have a much larger outer fillet radius and can protect and prolong the life of your synthetic winch line.
Let's go, what do you think? Go figure out what I should have instead?
Yeah.
Okay, so Justin's getting some stuff to bring over. We're gonna talk about like what I should replace my recovery gear with. He just said like, I'm honestly scared for you. So this is good. And I think everybody should think about this because sometimes this recovery kits are an afterthought. And it's only now, I'm years into my overlanding life, it's only now that I'm really reevaluating what's in my Jeep for safety and recovery. And so, you know, if you haven't done that, I suggest just taking a sec, taking out your recovery gear, looking at it, and even if it's quality stuff, decide how long you've had it and maybe what needs to be replaced. That way, when you get into a real sticky situation, you've got the best stuff possible that's not worn out.
So this right here is our Sawtooth recovery kit. So first and foremost, everything in this kit and all of our recovery kits, including the bag itself, is USA made, right? So these bags are
and a lot of it's Boise made, right?
That's correct. And so this is actually, this bag here is made in Colorado, but it's a premium canvas. It's got outer pockets. It's got MOLLE on the top of this, so you can actually use strap wraps to go through here, so the bag itself can act as the winch damper. That's why we don't make a winch line damper. So it's multi-use for what the bag is, but it's really badass. The straps go all the way around through here, so it's got full load on the webbing. You can put a shoulder strap on the two ends here, although it doesn't come with one, but that's also an option there as well. But the neat thing about this bag in general is that once you unzip this bag, it comes all the way down to the side. So so this bag totally unzips, and then the whole bag folds open.
Nice, wow.
So now, when you're in a recovery scenario, you can just get in here and get right access to all your tools. This is our 30-foot tow strap. That strap there is single ply and is only 20 feet long. Okay. So for anybody that's never been towed behind another vehicle, 20 feet is not enough room. You're barely seeing past the hood to their rear bumper for that distance in 20 feet. 30 feet is enough distance to be away from another vehicle. So this gives you a lot more distance as far as the buffer zone.
Yeah. I just got to say, so I'm just looking at this, and the difference between just the thickness is insane. This is a much, 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 much thicker, and just feeling it, it's a sturdier weave.
You can see that there's this blue stitching down the center part of this, right? So that blue stitching is signifying that this is high dense polyester. So there's minimal to no stretch in the material. So you know that this is a static strap. So
I can stretch this around.
And I don't know if that's nylon. I don't know if it's polyester. There's no call out to tell us what it is.
It's toe strap material.
Yeah. Here, clearly marked, you're going to see your straight pull, your choke pull, or a basket configuration, and the working load limit, and being able to factor out your minimum braking strength based off of each one of these configurations, clearly labeled right here. The other neat thing here is you can also see right here, it says manufacturing date, and then it also has a serial number, right? So it's just another thing of reliability when it comes to using and buying quality American-made stuff, right? So you got the toe strap, okay? Right. So that comes in the bag. Then you also have a tree saver, right? So same thing. This is our 8-foot tree saver here. So the tree saver has got additional Cordura sleeving, similar to the toe strap. It's got that blue stitching, right, that signify the high-dense polyester. It's 2-ply, so it's 2 webbings thick, and it's also, this strap is 3 inches wide. It's got mostly Cordura protecting the whole center part of this too as well, to better protect that when it's going around those types of things, or if you have to use it around rocks. This is a really key component, is having the tree saver to be able to be used even with attaching to other vehicles. So that's a really cool thing that comes in the kit. Then it also comes with 2 soft shackles. You have our standard duty soft shackle, which this is just UHMP fibers spliced together in our standard duty soft shackle. And then you also have our extreme duty soft shackle. The extreme duty soft shackles are coated in fiber lock.
Wow.
So it's basically kind of like a heavy like paint, right? And then it's got this whipping on the outside of this that's better protecting the fibers. So that way this can actually deal with some abrasion and some sharpness. And then we also have our standard duty, right? Again, you have that large diameter, so this thing can actually get around stuff a lot easier and be a lot more user friendly when you're in that scenario. We also have in this kit is one of our short straps. So again, similar to the toe strap and the tree saver, this is our shorty 2. So this is just literally a short anchor sling that can be utilized in a basket, in a choke, right? If you're going to choke around a roll cage or you know what I mean, some other type of rock slide or something, right? Or even in a straight pull. So that's pretty cool.
Awesome.
Then now in the mysteries of the pockets, right? The kits all come with one of our hitch receiver shackle mounts, which we've talked about. So the kits do come with one of our hitch links, and then it's got 3 pockets on one side and 2 on the other. Now in the 2 big pockets, what fits in here perfectly is our RRP. So the RRP is our rope retention pulley. So this replaces your heavy snatch block.
Oh, let me see this. It's not even. I mean, it's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
How much lighter that is.
What this does is it allows the rope to fall between these fingers, and this slides around through here. But if you get slack in the line, the rope can't fall out because of the little silicone fingers. Why the kit comes with one of the standard duty soft shackles as well is because this is how you're going to rig up the pulley. It's going to go through here. Now you don't got to worry about dropping the pulley on the ground.
Yeah.
Right? Because it'll stop at the end of the knot. And then once you come up to rig something, you literally open this up, stuff the knot through there, it self-tightens under load, and then this becomes your snatch block.
Wow.
So what's neat about this is that now you can actually go up and set this up. Even because you have so much room here, you can take the end of your winch line and pass that through here, and the rope will go down and fall down between these fibers.
Yeah.
Whereas with that style,
you've got to thread it through before
you got to open this up, thread it through, reconnect it, right? This can all get connected before you even go grab your winch line.
Yeah.
Right? So everything's set and ready to go, which also could save you time.
That is really nice.
Yeah.
That's really nice setup.
So that's part of the kit.
That's so sweet.
And then in the other pockets over here, it comes with 2 hard shackles.
Oh.
Now these are red shackles.
Thank you.
Yeah. They may seem like the same shackles you have on your bumper outside, but the difference is, one thing you'll look is if you look at the pinholes are much larger because they're actually really designed to put a tool through here to crank these loose if you need to and have easier access to it. But the biggest difference is that these are made by Crosby here in the U.S. So these shackles are actually rated and certified for overhead lifting. So these actually have a 5-to-1 safety factor. They're 3/4 inch shackles with a 4 3/4 ton working load limit. So it's 9,500 pounds. But these don't see destructive failure until above 55,000 pounds. Those come in the kit.
Mine, I spray painted red. They're not really red. So that's another upgrade.
And then also within the bag, the high vis interior allows you to see things even at night, right? It also comes with our fast fid. So this comes with our rope splicing tool. That's a whole nother thing we'll have to get into a video about. But it comes with our rope splicing tool in order to repair your synthetic winch line. You can use this to repair the rope on your winch, make your own soft shackles, make your own extensions, whatever. This tool is so versatile for many reasons. We invented this tool 5 years ago. We released it, and it's a real key component, especially if you're using synthetic winch line. Now, the other thing that's in here that's not on the straps already, it also comes with 3 of our Velcro strap wraps. These are hand sewn in Los Angeles, and it's got this bar tack stitching here with this really nice heavy powder coated steel D-ring. The cool thing with these is that there's this extra piece of Velcro that's right here.
Yeah.
So what this does is now you can come through here and actually get this thing around something really large, right? Like a kinetic rope or your toe strap, or especially with the Jeep, if you have something you need to put around the roll cage, you still have this extra piece of Velcro that the strap is holding down onto. So you can secure all this stuff. Now back on this side, last but not least, every single one of our recovery kits comes with a copy of our recovering manuals. So this is our basic guide to winching. So in here, it'll go cover to cover. It'll go through all of the basics that you need to know for winching. And then like we mentioned before already, right? So you have a lot of different scenarios and imagery in the back. But once you get into the back here, It'll also cover that stop at checklist.
Yeah.
So in the back here, it goes through all of the different scenarios of things you should think about and look into and be prepared for, including, you know, how to start to factor in your mire tire depth and what you're adding for your gross vehicle weight. So that way you can keep yourself educated and safe in the backcountry. So
this is so cool because you most of the time don't have internet when you get stuck. And so you can't just like search on YouTube for how to get out of this particular recovery situation. So I think this is as useful as every other piece of equipment that's in here because it's like how you use it and when.
yeah, so the number one thing that I always talk about too, right, is that education is the biggest asset that we have off-road, right? From tread lightly principles to knowing how to maintain your vehicle, to knowing when and how to put the vehicle in four-wheel drive and use your lockers, right? Same thing when it comes to recovery equipment. So we have our basic guide to winching. We also have our basic guide to towing. It's our basic guide to kinetic energy recovery and towing a disabled vehicle off-road. And then we also have 2 new manuals that we're working on, one for our load distribution plate for advanced rigging and recoveries, and then also one to even deal with winch line extensions and rope splicing.
Wow.
So those are going to be coming, and that will all roll up to hopefully available to have them as digital assets soon as well. Now the cool thing is we took everything out of the bag, right? So now when we go to strap up everything, put it back in, everything fits back in there.
Yeah, let's do that.
So now you can take the pulley, right? Take your pulley. This thing will go right into the main pocket right over there. Fits right down in there. You got your soft shackle. This thing can go right down through here. You can even take your hitch link and that'll fit down in this side of the bag over there as well. So now you got all 3 of your straps are right there. And then for the rest of the components, you got your fast fid. That slides right down there. And then your 2 hard shackles. Once you wrap the toe strap up after you're done using it, put the toe strap down on one side, you put the tree saver in, and then the shorty strap on the other side of it like that. Stack them up evenly that way, right? You got everything's back in the bag, just like this. You got the 2 handles.
Oh,
The thing just folds right up. Just goes right up and zips up the sides. Zip that whole thing up. The bag is in a rectangle, so it nests neatly with other gear. Like the entire bag itself only weighs 23 pounds.
this weighs, with all this stuff in it, about the same as my old recovery bag because this thing
Weighs so much.
it's almost the same weight as a whole bag.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that's great. So now we have gone through my recovery gear or lack thereof. We've gone through this Sawtooth bag and all the components that are inside of it. And so really there's only like one thing really left to do, which is go use it.
Yeah.
So that'll be the next episode. Well, I just want to say thanks, Justin, for taking me through this stuff. Thanks for taking it easy on me. You could have made fun of me a lot more than you did with my recovery gear. And I just got to say that it's so cool that Factor 55 is here in Boise. That these are world-class materials being manufactured here in the U.S. in Idaho, or if it's not in Idaho, like the bags and stuff, it's close. You know, it's all U.S. made. And I think, you know, with what we do, having the highest quality stuff for this type of gear is super important. So I just think it's so cool that you're here. You took the time to go through this stuff with me, and I can't wait to go wheel with you.
Yeah, man, just get out with your friends and practice this stuff. Read through the manuals. You know, contact your local four-wheel drive trainer. You know, get educated.
Yeah.
Use the stuff because it's cool to know how to do it and how to do it safe.
And if you've made it this far in the video and you haven't subscribed to Venture to Roam, for goodness sakes, subscribe to Venture to Roam. All right, thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm Will from Venture to Roam. We'll see you later.